Well, hello, my links teams. I promised I'd do an update regarding month 7, and so this is what this video clip is about. So without further ado, let me jump right into what the results are. Let me start with our Industry A or Industry 1. Well, Industry A or 1, we have results that I haven't seen before at this stage of the game. We have 2 teams, remember there's only 4 in this industry as well as our other industry, that are statistically tied. So in first place, we have Firm 4 and Firm 2. So let me give my usual shout out to those teams. So in Firm 4, Michael, Tim, Lauren, Wesley, and Gardner, congratulations for your hard work. And I'll have to say that again in terms of Firm 2, congratulations on your hard work as well, Clark, Coleman, Eric, Carmen, and David. You know, I've been saying it's going to be a photo finish, and I think it's really going to be the case with this. Now, let me just say in terms of looking at Firms 3 and Firm 1, you also are statistically tied in terms of your score, and I think it's possible that either of these 2 teams, Firm 3 or 1, could also overtake either Firm 4 or 2. But I think to do it, you're going to have to bring home your best game so far and really put the effort behind it. Before I move on to the other industry, let me talk about a couple of things in this Industry 1 or A that I see are areas for improvement. The first of it all has to do with the inventory turnover. For some of the firms in Industry 1 or A, it's a real issue. At this stage of the simulation, it typically is, and I think that it's something that really we need to pay some attention to. Now, part of this is going to do with the fact that we have several firms that had unfilled orders. I think that while these are symptoms, the core of the problem is still going to be the forecasting accuracy. Some of you are doing very well. Some of you are still struggling to find the right technique, whether that be quantitative or qualitative methods, to really get a handle on what's going on here. Let me talk about Industry B or Industry 2. So here, we don't have the same type of situation where we have 2 firms or even those clusters of 2 firms that are statistically tied. In Industry 2, Firm 4 is clearly at this point in time the leader, meaning that there is no statistical tie in terms of first place. So let me give a shout out to Yesenia, William, Kyle, Brad, and Tanner. Congratulations on having the lead in this industry. But I will tell you, even though it's not statistically tied, there are 3 industries, Firm 2, Firm 1, and Firm 3, in that order that are going to give you, I think, a race to the finish. And so it's going to be very interesting to see who is going to emerge as the winner in this industry. Now, what you're going to see is that this industry also is struggling with the same 2 things that I talked about with the Industry A or 1. And that is the inventory turnover is also a concern here. As I said, it's something that we typically see at this point in time because we're dealing with those 2 Ps in that 4P model, price and promotion. And we're finding that both industries are using those to a certain extent. And they create volatility that can always be accounted for in the forecast from period to period. So in Industry 2 or Industry B, we have inventory turnover that ranges from 2 up to 7. Neither of those endpoints are particularly good, although 7 is certainly going to be the best in the industry. But I think in reality that we'd like to see some improvement even on the 7. There are no unfilled orders for this particular industry. And I'm not sure that that's a good thing necessarily, as I said, because we still need a lot of work in terms of that inventory turnover. Well, that's all I have in terms of an update, but let me talk a little bit about what's going to happen on Monday for your last links decision for month 8 and 9 that I've been referring to as the double round. So when your team gets together to make the decision inputs for month 8, this will be the last decision period that you will have. You will get the usual email from Dr. Chapman in the link simulation after month 8 runs. But what we will simply do, or what he will do, is to take those inputs and he will run them through the simulation again for month 9. You will not, and I'll repeat this, you will not get the opportunity to change anything about those inputs that you're going to make for Monday night for the 9 p.m. simulation run. This, as I said before, is to encourage you not to do any in-playing in terms of the simulation. So the expectation is that if you were going to make a decision and then head off on vacation and not really having a replacement, and you don't want to be bugged with those emails about things going wrong while you're away from the office, that's how you should approach this final decision period. Now remember, we will be holding a formal class on Tuesday, November 22nd, and this is to ensure that we give you some more structure around what the expectation is regarding that final report as well as the presentation. We have some opportunity, and I think we have some questions from the respective groups about, what does that business result or what does that executive summary look like? And I want to make sure that when we get to that important part of this grading, period for the course, or those deliverables for the course, that have a much better idea about what the expectation is about what that should look like, both in written as well as the oral presentation form itself. I'll be holding additional office hours tomorrow from noon until 2 if you have any questions. But as I said, once again, my expectation is that I'll see you in class on Tuesday for a short debriefing on what those two deliverables should look like from my standpoint. And then I'm going to leave enough time in the class for you to work in your teams to really determine who's going to be doing what work over the Thanksgiving holiday. So when we come back to campus on either late Sunday or early, when we have classes start again on Monday, you'll know exactly what you need to do to be ready to turn in your best work and finish up links really in grand style. I'll see you either on Monday or Tuesday.